to wherever you may be. It's time now for Midnight Baseball 36, Spencer Dodgers, and Pizza. We're going to celebrate the life of Mike Ilitch, the owner of the Detroit Tigers. We lost him over the weekend, and how can we find out how the passing of an owner can affect maybe the landscape of a major sporting, okay, especially Major League Baseball. Wow, what a life this man lived. I looked more and more to his past and where he came from, what he did. We all know. Most importantly, this is a power couple. His wife of 50 plus years, Marion, they live side by side. She's one of 12 women to be on the Stanley Cup. Every time you see a guy reaching out the Stanley Cup or drinking big beers out of the Stanley Cup, know that Marion Ilitch's name is on that. It wasn't just about Mike. So Valentine's Day is around the corner. Remember, behind every good man is a good woman, and the same was Mike Ilitch. And I can't wait to see what she has to do with the Detroit Tigers. I hope she's a purist. I hope she stays in the win now attitude. We kept hearing about how Mike really wanted to win a World Series before he passed. And so the Tigers were just win. And I mean, as a Tiger fan, how can you not love that? I mean, every ownership group is different in the 30 teams that we own. We're going to talk about that in a second. But the Tigers have an awesome owner. We've lost a lot. They have a great future. And that's all you can really say. Mike, rest in peace, sir. Trivia question from last time. Who has the second most hits in Cincinnati Reds history? Pete Rose is number one. We know that. 1, 2, 3. Mr. Barry Larkin, the Hall of Famer, captain of the 1990 World Series team. Barry, you did it all when you were the captain of there. And with not Three Rivers. Not Citizen Bank. What's the name of that park? Riverfront Stadium. Pull it out there. Barry Larkin, keep doing what you're doing. You're involved in RBI and the inner city, so keep influencing the game in America. Barry, shout out to you. Globalization is what the umpire briefing is. I'm burning on it. I keep thinking about how I mentioned sometimes currency rates last time, how they affect decisions in baseball. As much as we fall in love with this game, please remember that baseball is a business, okay? Midnight Baseball, we're fans. We love this game. We're here to support the players. We're here to make it more of a globalized, teach our kids about the game, teach about how life lessons are on and off the field. But there's always an exchange rate, a currency rate, and business will affect the game as we're going to talk about in rules now, okay? So I was looking at that because I was thinking about Dominican Republic. I referenced a contract 2 weeks ago, and it's 25 cents to the dollar is the current exchange rate. So if a player from the Dominican signs, let's say, a $25 million contract, in essence, is that a $100 million contract as soon as they go back home? Kind of is, right? So that's something you always got to factor in as a business decision. Okay, moving on. Back to Detroit. What are we talking about in Detroit is, this is one of 30 owners who makes a decision to what? Gives the commissioner his job. What's the commissioner do? He makes up the rules of the game. What's new on the books this year? Making more rule changes like always. Pace of play. Keeping players healthy. This time it's a pace of play where people are burning on. One of my friends, Justin Stauffer, another shout out to you, Staff. They're burning on, is there going to be at extra innings, a player starting at second base in the 10th inning or 11th inning? I don't want this rule. Most of the people I talk to don't. I play men's league softball. It's what we do in men's league softball, but that's not Major League Baseball. We don't know if they're going to try out that rule maybe in the minor leagues like they did this last year with the pitch clock and try that in the minors and see if the rule works. But it'll be interesting to see how the rule changes. Like, does the batter stay in the batter's box? Does it pitch visits to the mound? Does the coach go out? Can the catcher go out so many different times? There's all kinds of little tinkering going on in MLB, and with the 30 owners, and especially with the Ilitch, kind of transition, because I heard he was a big influence with the owners groups. What will transition? And please stay pure, right? We want to keep this game. No rules here at Midnight Baseball. There are changes happening. We're not afraid of changing different things in baseball, but mostly with rule changes, they're going to be really, really careful. And that's what we're going to say about that. Speaking of rule changes, Chase Utley, the second baseman, signs a one-year deal with the Dodgers. Dodger fans rejoice. Chase is coming back for 1 year to do a platoon. Dodger fans are happy. They got all their free agents back. They got Turner back. They got Jansen back. They got Rich Hill back. We know about Utley taking out Tejada with making the new rule 2 years ago with the double play takeout. You have to hold on to the bag when you're breaking, get the double play. You got to slide in there, make sure you get some of the bag. And then, what about the play at home plate? Let's go into trivia. Buster Posey's rule, right? Collision at home. Here you come. Here's a trivia. What player came down and smacked Buster Posey? Hint, he was on the Marlins. His career wasn't long, but he'll be remembered for changing baseball forever. What player took out Buster Posey at home, changing the rules of baseball? at home plate collisions. A rule that I kind of support now. I never really liked taking out a defensive player. I used to kind of think that it was different. So I do change my opinion about things. I know, America, we grow as a community, as a country. Hopefully we can spread our things globally. We've been doing that forever. I'm doing this whole globally thing. I don't know what's going on with that, but as you think about life and how precious it is and what you go on, you realize how special life is. Here's my shout out, Jody Wahl. She's a writer for Dodgers Nation. She followed me on Twitter. She liked one of my tweets. Jody, you say you're a tree hugger, you're a hiker, you're a journalist. I think you're fantastic. You're a Midnight Baseball fan, and most importantly, you bleed blue and you're a Dodger fan. Keep watching Midnight Baseball. If you share us, I'm going to share you. I'm going to share about your Dodger Nation articles. I got love for you. Thank you so much, Jody. Midnight Players, gratitude, baseball gods. We're doing 36 here. I couldn't be happier doing Midnight Baseball. Time to go upstairs, have a little dinner with the family. Let's do it. Rock and roll. See you guys tomorrow.